Hi there, I am Stacy Phillips, and I am so excited to kick off my podcast, Stacy Phillips and Friends. Each week, we will step into my wardrobe, literally one of my closets, where one of my nearest and dearest friends and confidants will fill this chair next to me as my co-host to chat a little bit about life and a lot about women empowering women. Together, we will have a gap session with just us gal pals, a deep dive for the dish, a convo among co-eds, and then our big feature presentation, the special guest interview, or what I call the SGI. So welcome to Stacy Phillips and Friends. Let's keep it real. So here we are, season 2. I am so excited. And while we've been waiting to be taped, I've had the opportunity to get to know Katie Lowes a little bit better, other than my just stalking her on Broadway or on TV, Scandal, Waitress. But she's a real person. And that's what this is all about, women empowering women. And we have realized that Abbe and Katie have besties in common.
And yes. I've stalked her actually from her podcast, which no longer exists, but two very influential episodes. One was your miscarriage episode.
Oh, that would resonate.
Which I'm in the infertility space, and I was finally pregnant with my people who became my children, and that miscarriage episode was the first time I'd heard anybody talk about it.
Oh my goodness.
And then your breastfeeding episode with Kristen Bell, which was mostly irrelevant to me because I barely nursed, but I have sent that episode still to many people struggling through breastfeeding.
That is so lovely to hear. Stacy, I hosted a mom podcast for 6 years that Shonda Rhimes produced, and it was just real talk, real tired was the slogan.
Yes.
I was so blindsided by motherhood. I cannot even begin to explain. And I just was like, I need to take to the airwaves. Is airwaves still a thing? Or am I speaking like I'm from 1940?
With us it is.
We know what you're talking about.
Okay,
yeah,
good.
Your kids don't.
Yeah, they definitely don't. They don't even know what like a real telephone looks like. But anyway, so
I had to tell time on a real clock.
No.
We just taught my children that. They're better at it than I am. Just say that.
Wow. Well, that's so, that really means a lot to me. I worked really hard on that podcast. It means a lot to me. I'm so, walking around on the streets, Scandal fans, Inventing Anna fans, that's really nice. But I have to say, like the Katie's Crib Mom podcast fans that come up to me and I give them a hug, like as if we're holding on to each other for dear life, because we just feel like, we went through the early years of motherhood, which was really hard.
Well, I was very, very lucky. My mother-in-law lived with me. And actually, the closet that we're in was her room, which after she moved out, I converted to a closet. And then with COVID, it's also filled with work boxes because I was working at home. So
this is the
she
same. My closet as well. I'm so jealous that you had a mother-in-law. We didn't have any family here, which is really tough.
Same.
But I call my closet my clawfus. And so in COVID, the same thing. Like you can see, I pull out a drawer here.
Wow.
And it's also the best sound quality for podcasting. So you're ahead of the game because all the clothes sort of like take away the echo and whatever.
So my mother-in-law was like my wife, and I could do things in my career that I would not have been able to do. But for her, may she rest in peace. It was pretty amazing.
That's incredible.
And people say, you lived with your mother-in-law? I mean, really?
Right.
But she was wonderful, and my kids are better for it. And I convinced my parents to move out here from New York. When you said you have no family, I really worked hard at that. So our whole family, my brother, my sister-in-law, my nephews, my parents, my mother-in-law, were all out here. And now my kids live back east.
And this is the big question, isn't it? Like I'm a New Yorker, born, raised.
Where? So am I.
I grew up in Ozone Park, Queens until 6th grade. My mother talks like this still. And she grew up in Queens also. And then we moved to Port Washington, Long Island for junior high and high school. And then I went to Tisch School of the Arts for college and moved to the city and was waitressing and doing off Broadway and making no money. And I got that little birdie in my ear saying like, I think if you tried Los Angeles, maybe someone would give you a shot and you could actually like afford rent every month, which was not the case when I moved here the first bunch of years. I also waitressed and babysat and catered and assisted for years until I was able to pay the bills through acting. But I was able to move my brother out here. So I do have him, his wife, and his 2 kids. They live around the corner, which is great. We are currently in process of getting my parents out here. But the whole business has changed, and you don't, when I started professionally acting 21 years ago, you really had to be like in LA or New York. Things were done in person. And now since COVID, the business has changed so much and all of my stuff is online. There is some talk about, do we all go back to New York? Look, I don't know. I don't know what's going to happen, Stacy Phillips. I'm in the middle of a midlife crisis. I don't know.
Nobody knows.
Nobody knows.
And so I grew up on the Upper East Side, and my daughter went to Steinhardt at NYU.
No way.
And she lives in Brooklyn with her boyfriend, and my son and daughter-in-law and grandson, age 7.5 months, live in Pittsburgh, and they're coming out in a couple of weeks. So
Mazel
just
tov.
had a high chair delivered today.
Believable for
Right?
a grandmother. What's your name?
Thank you.
What are you going by?
Interesting you say that, because I came up with the list.
Okay.
I've been taking votes. What I like, my kids don't like. And they say, oh, let Felix decide. It's like, no, because you referred to me. And so when I was just there, they referred to me as Mimi. I think that's what they referred to. It's like, I haven't decided that yet. So
Is it on the list? Is Mimi on the list?
yes,
Okay.
that was one of the ones.
I like Mimi.
It's very cute.
It's very cute.
No, but what's the one I like? Glammy.
Glammy. If my mom had heard that, she would have picked it.
I don't
So, but
know
they think
you well
that's
enough yet,
too
but I'm
snotty.
feeling that glammy would be the vibe.
Very fitting.
Well, you're in my closet. That
Yes.
means I have a lot of clothes.
And you've got
it
an
means
earring,
I'm
like
fashion oriented.
an amazing suit on. Like, I think this is
No,
good
it's not
for
a
you.
suit. I am
Jacket.
wearing a jacket and I'm wearing jeans. So I was just commenting to Abbe that you guys, you gals, remind me of each other. That is the highest compliment. Because
I agree.
I started stalking
I
her
agree.
after
I
when she was a
agree.
guest on my podcast. And the reason I'm wearing these gorgeous earrings is because
Gorgeous.
Ann Sisteron, who is a friend of mine of 20-something years, these are her earrings. It's her jewelry line. And so my necklaces are hers, my earrings are hers. So I wanted to show
obviously
it
she's
off.
glammy is the point.
You're glammy.
Yeah, but my kids don't like it. But my kids don't like it. They like look at me like with my clothes like, enough, Mom. But that's what makes me happy. I'm a divorce lawyer, for God's sakes. I need something to brighten my
That's
day.
true.
Yes, I cannot believe you are a glammy. We can call you that here. Forget what your kids say. Screw that.
Totally. I'm going to call you glammy.
Yeah, that's insane. So glammy, like what's upsetting is that so now your grandkids are most likely going to be having like a Brooklyn existence. Is this what's
No,
is this what's happening?
Pittsburgh. My
Pittsburgh.
daughter
Pittsburgh.
my daughter who has been babysitting children since she was a child and gravitates to children and to doggies. She and her significant other, they call partner, I
Yes.
call boyfriend,
Yes.
haven't decided if they want to get married or have children. And I look at her like she's got horns. And she says, Mom, it's my choice. And I go, it is certainly your choice, but you of all people, I thought you would have been having children at a young age because you were so good
So into
with
it.
children.
Oh, interesting.
And
How old
she
am I
was,
allowed to ask how old she is?
Yeah, she's 30.
Of course, I'm thinking she
Oh.
should still freeze her eggs so that she gives herself the option because she
Well,
might
I
not
told
decide
her-
until she's 40 and then it's
That's
going to be
a
too
yes.
late.
We've had that
That's a
discussion and I
no-brainer.
said I would pay for it.
Yes. Yeah.
Oh,
But she works for a
Glammy.
nonprofit, so.
Yeah,
Glammy,
that's
you're
a good
the
glammy.
freaking Best. A, she needs to freeze her eggs. B, then she can buy herself so much time to figure out. C, I didn't even get pregnant until I was like 36.
Yeah, I was
Like-
31 and 36 and did not
Wow.
have issues. And
It took me 6 years,
Yes.
but then I gave birth at 40. So, 2 twins, no big deal.
I
It
always
was so
thought-
easy, you guys. It was so easy.
Yeah.
It's so hard, but you definitely want to be sure because it's
It
Yes.
sticks.
it sticks. That's the way to
It
that is
sticks.
definitely the way to phrase it. And for me, it was like I just needed a deep knowing that, when I was older, I knew that it was really important to me that I was going to be a mother to somebody. I didn't know how I was going to get there. I didn't know what routes I was going to take to make it happen. But I knew that like when I was in my 60s or 70s, hopefully, God willing, I see those years that there was going to be someone running around calling me mom or mommy, like that was a thing. Unfortunately, because my God, the amount of time I could be doing other shit, but it is worth it. And it is really, I've been very fortunate speaking about, just getting to spend some time with you powerful women this morning. I've been so lucky that I had both my babies on shows where women were my bosses, women were in charge at every level. There were women on my TV shows that had babies before I did. I was so freaking supported. And I know that not only is that very hard to come by in all industries, but very much so as an actress.
So was Betsy Beers one of your gifts to allow you to have your children on the set?
The best. Like Betsy Beers.
Shout out for Bets.
Betsy Beers and Shonda Rhimes. I can't even, it was down to like, we would schedule in my breastfeeding breaks. Like I had maternity leaves. They gave me a 2-banger trailer all to myself, which I don't think was in my contract. You lawyer over there. They gave me one side of a trailer that was mine. And then the other side was for my nanny and for my baby. They didn't want me going up and down stairs while I was pregnant. So they built me like a deck outside of my trailer because they thought the trailer steps were too steep and they didn't want me to take a fall. Like I was assigned a special PA who just ran around after me, making sure I had enough peanut butter and jelly sandwiches and like pickles with hummus because my cravings were bizarre. It was absolutely magical. So much so that my second baby I had as when Betsy and Shonda were my bosses again on Inventing Anna. So I really put them
So let's explain why I did a shout out for Betsy. So I'm the chair of public counsel. Bruce Cormichael, Betsy's husband, is on the officer's ladder with me. So I am so grateful for their contribution to public counsel. I know you attend our dinners. I've told you that the dinner this year is going to be the best ever because I entertain. So everybody knows that this dinner has to have the best honoree or honorees and the best music. So
now you got to top Jane Fonda.
You're setting the bar very high. Very high.
And
very high bar.
The last one with Jane Fonda was so good. I said to our head of development, okay, Trace, what are we doing now? How am I going to live up to that?
Where do you go from
I
there?
was pregnant, just interesting story. I was pregnant 5.5 months working out at Jane Fonda's studio, 7:00 in the morning. And I was doing a circuit class and Jane was there with sunglasses on at 7 a.m. And one of my friends who was a doctor who I had dinner with the other night. So this was 37 years ago because my son, or 36 years ago, was 35. And she commented to me about being 5.5 months pregnant. And Jane came over, took off her sunglasses, said to me, "You're 5.5 months pregnant. You don't look it." And I said, "That's because I work out here." So big deal. So at the dinner, I went up to her and said, "You will not remember this, but this is what happened 36 years ago." She put her arm around me and said, "Of course I remember it." Not. She said, "I was worried about you." And wasn't she fabulous at the public counsel dinner? Just
she was
fabulous.
remarkable. Public counsel, again, being an actor, you get, and I'm sure you do too, both of you, I get to go to a lot of events, and public counsel's gala every year is so fantastic and such a reminder of, oh my gosh, of like the incredible human work that people are doing, including Bruce Cormichael and you, Stacy Phillips, to freaking on the ground, walking the walk, talking the talk, and just like getting it done to help people and actually being able to show for, like, you actually can show how you've helped people. It's so inspiring. It's my favorite night of the year. And I just, like, I always post about it. I shout it from the rooftops. I always tell everybody at public counsel, like, anything I can do, whatever you need, anytime ever, you can count on me. I am there. It's just wonderful. So thank you for all the time you spend on it. It is, and I'm sure now more than ever, holy smokes, it is needed.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
With the budgets being cut and
Oh, my
every day
goodness.
cut, not cut, it's very scary. So we've been very focused on doing the important work, whether it's boots on the ground, direct support, or impact litigation or policy. And God bless. And God bless Betsy and Bruce.
Yes, God bless them. Like, they really show up. They really show up. Like, they are, and they look fabulous while they do it. I mean, not to make it about that, but my goodness, Bruce Carmichael this year at the Public Council Gala is in a whole
He's the only man I know who can wear a pink suit or a lavender suit or a gold suit. When they were in London this year, I made him send me pictures of all the suits he was wearing in what colors. And Betsy's in black.
Well, and he's taken my
like-
husband. My husband doesn't have great fashion sense, and Bruce is, well, no, that's not true. He does. It's just not up to Bruce Carmichael standards, which is a different level. And Bruce took Adam to like his glasses place on Abbott Kinney, and Adam, my husband, comes home and he's just like, you wouldn't believe how Bruce like shops and his style and everything. I adore them. I'm so grateful that they're in my life and have introduced me to public counsel. I can't wait to party again this year. But you guys need me for anything. You have my info now, Stacy.
And now it's recorded, so you can hold her to it.
Absolutely. My mind is already going, okay, what can we do with you at our dinner?
Yeah.
Anything you want.
As I've said to Abbe, now, mind you, I met Abbe when she was sitting in your chair.
Truth.
And was my celebrity
At my
guest.
mother-in-law's house where I was living last summer, and that didn't go quite as well as Stacy's
Oh
version.
no! Oh no!
Yeah, no complaints publicly.
Okay.
But I love my mother-in-law, but it was different. And I remember telling you there was like they have these like red wicker hanging chairs from 1972 that still live there, and you were like, "Where are you?" I was like, "My in-laws." Wow. You actually segued it perfectly because you started talking about Adam. Can we talk about your entrepreneurial extravaganza with your husband?
Yes, Stacy, you will not believe this. Yes.
The pretzels.
Okay. Yeah, that's where he is today. Let's see. I don't know what delivery he's. Yes, I am. Not only am I an actress, I am a pretzel queen. If you didn't know that,
I'm Disso Queen.
You are
Dissolution of marriage. Yes, that's my
Dissolution of marriage queen.
Yes, Disso Queen. But go on, pretzel queen.
I'm just the queen in my home. I don't need any.
Love it. My husband started a soft pretzel company during COVID. Everybody was making sourdough bread and kind of
bagels.
And everybody was scared and sort of taking it out on like carbohydrates and like cooking in their house. And my husband is born, raised Philadelphia and was like, oh my goodness, I'm never going to be able to get my son back there. We can't get on planes. I don't know what we're doing. So I'm just going to try to perfect the art of making a Philadelphia soft pretzel day in and day out. He's researching and baking and my kitchen's a disaster and we're all covered in flour. And one morning he wakes up and he's like, I think I've got it. And then with that, everyone that we know who lives in LA from Philadelphia is doing drive-bys of by my house. I'm 6 months pregnant. I'm running out with pretzels. I'm running out and everyone's just like in hysteria. Like, this is the best soft pretzel I've ever had. And at the same time, I always used to sit in for for Kelly Ripa on Ryan and Kelly. And I would co-host the show with Ryan Seacrest. And at the time it was COVID. So I was co-hosting via Zoom in my living room while my children were asleep at 4:00 in the morning so that it would air at the correct time on East Coast. And Seacrest was just like, what's Adam been up to? And I'm like, he's been making Philadelphia soft pretzels. And the next day, his assistant came by all masked up. We gifted him some pretzels. He ate them on air. My husband at the same time was like, his last name is Shapiro, but his nickname from Jewish sleepaway camp growing up is Shappy. So he was like, I'm going to just get a website that says shappypretzel.com. And I'm just going to put up the Eagles schedule and people can order pretzels. And that was 5+ years ago. And now we're the pretzel underneath every seat at the Oscars. We've had pretzels at SoFi Stadium. Wow. We do pretzels at music venues all over. We cater bar mitzvahs, bat mitzvahs, weddings, funerals, shivas, anything ever, every set
visit. You need to do it at public council for the public council staff.
Boom. Business deal made right here.
Done. Oh, Adam, I can't believe that hasn't happened yet. Yes, that's a yes, 100, done, doing it. He does Abbott Elementary is a Philadelphia show, takes place in Philadelphia. So he always does every Abbott Elementary party, or It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia, or Bradley Cooper's from Philly. So every set he's on, he gets
My
it as a
law
gift.
firm is based in Philly.
Whoa.
We're a Philly-based firm.
Whoa.
But I often thought of cheesesteaks, so I much prefer pretzels.
Same.
Yes, we're cheesesteak. I mean, he loves cheesesteaks too, but there's something about a salt. This pretzel.
I can't eat salt, so I would have to have it without salt.
She needs she really can't.
I just was diagnosed celiac in November, so I can't eat gluten.
Oh, no.
I had a conversation with 3 girlfriends about that last night. We were out to dinner, and one of them asked to speak to the waitress. It's like, oh, this is lovely. I'm not the only freakazoid here, because she had celiac.
Why can't you have
Changed her life when she figured my body doesn't process it.
Oh, no.
Changed her life when she figured out. How did I find out? I react to it. I react to it.
Well,
Plain simple, and it's gotten worse.
Celiac this has changed my life. I had no symptoms at all. Shockingly, I had silent celiac. I didn't know. I was getting a routine colonoscopy for all
That's
y'all.
What happened to her?
Oh,
I just had my first.
She found out, and then her hands were swollen and she was really tired, but she didn't know why. And when she had a routine colonoscopy and endoscopy, they saw it, and then they did a blood test, and her life has changed. Literally had this conversation last night.
Story, Stacy. This is my exact story. And I had been riddled. Turns out I was swollen, because everyone's like, holy crap, you look great. And I was like, yeah, I didn't know. I've been walking around looking like I was still 6 months pregnant. And I just thought that's what my body was post babies in my 40s. I had no idea, or maybe perimenopause. I didn't know what was going on. Turns out gluten was poisoning me. But the other thing I had that I didn't know was I had been struggling for 5 years with horrible acid reflux since my second pregnancy. And the day that I stopped gluten, I haven't had acid reflux one day. I hadn't had coffee in 5 years. I hadn't had anything acidic. And now I can. It's
wine? What about wine?
So everyone get your colonoscopies. Get them done, people. Get them done.
Guys, I'm disappointed, because I just did my first one, and I was so excited to find out what the hell was going on in my body, but it was nothing. It was clear as a whistle. They gave me the pictures. They're framed, and my kids were really excited to see the inside of my colon. They're so gross. I threw them out immediately.
Yes,
but no.
Well, as they tell you, you should have a colonoscopy starting at 50, which is the common wisdom for women, but much earlier, because if you have a colonoscopy and they find something,
it's too late.
They can only make you comfortable.
Yeah, I'm 42 and I got it done because of they wanted to check out the acid reflux, and do an endoscopy and a colonoscopy. But while I had 2 very small polyps, but they were like, this is what they're finding more and more and more. So I think they're changing the age, unless I'm wrong, to 45. Yeah. But I'm
interesting
so
you
grateful
say that.
I did it even earlier.
I was in my low 40s, and I had a spastic cough, sort of like reflux. So they were going to do a endoscopy. And I said, well, why don't we do a colonoscopy at the same time?
Yep.
It's many years early, so I called my internist. He said, yeah. I said, I'm going to be knocked out. What the heck? They found 4 or 5 polyps because I added it on. Mm-hmm. So
wow.
Message
Stacy.
out there, get your colonoscopy as early as possible. If nothing else, you have a baseline.
Yes.
And if you catch anything, your life will be saved. If you wait too long, they will make you comfortable.
I'm 29 and I just insisted.
Good for you.
Oh, I love you. She's like, maybe I can't really see you. I'm not 29.
Yes, well, you did say
you're
when you
gorgeous.
That's
and you
true.
play.
That's true.
You're gorgeous and you play very young. You play
Thank you.
very young.
Thank
Look
you.
at both of you. What's next for you, Katie? What are you focused on next? Your career, your philanthropic life?
Both. You I feel like that's such a nice question to ask. I'm like actually I'm like asking it of myself. So I'm very appreciative. I'm really feeling like now that my kids, I know it sounds young probably to a lot of people who are listening. My daughter is 4 and my son is 7, but it does feel like we are embarking in this era where they're both at school all day, and I've started to really like get back to myself in a way, and get back to feeling like, they're a little bit, they're more on their own, like they can wipe their own butt. They're in big kid beds. They have friends. They're interested in a sleepover. Like there's just some space around mothering. So much so that I did my first job this year that took me away from them. And I've always taken them on every job I've ever had. And Shonda Land and Betsy Beers, shout out again, have always been nothing but supportive about taking my kids on every job I've ever had. And this was the first time my kids were in school, and I shot a TV show in Charlotte, North Carolina. And my family and I decided that I could do it. And it was terrifying, and the anxiety was unbelievable. And my husband held it down like nobody's business because he's the best.
Go Adam, go.
Yes.
Go Adam, go. And for 4 months, I commuted. I did 13 round trip flights between Charlotte and LA, and I was home every 4 days. And everyone survived and everyone thrived. And it was just a huge learning lesson in that I could do it, like I could do it. I could parent, and I could trust my support system here in LA to effectively raise my kids. And, the job was finite. So it was like, okay, let's just do it. We can do it. And the big shocker to those listening was that I loved it. like
You go,
I
girl.
was so upset about leaving the kids, and really what it taught me was, I had this little apartment that was my own in Charlotte, and, I would shoot all day, and I love being an actor more than anything. And I love being on sets, and then to just come home after work and just like to my little apartment and watch my shows. And I wasn't able to parent, because I was 3,000 miles away. It was like a forced,
Sounds glorious.
like, identity check-in, like what do I want to do and what do I want for dinner? And again, I think it was manageable because it was finite. It was like a 1-season thing, which was why I did it. I was like, I'm going to try this thing for 4 months. And if it ends up being something that's a nightmare for my family, like I won't do it again. And it'll have to be, I have to work in LA, or if I book a job, I have to take the family. So it was a big learning lesson. It's called Hunting Wives. It's based on a book. It's like this. It's like the most fun ever. It's a big character. I play a preacher's wife, y'all. A preacher's wife.
Oh boy.
I know. And
Love
I
it.
know.
Big hair, a lot of big hair.
Big hair.
Big eyelashes.
Can't wait.
Big lashes. It was so fun. I had a great time. And then I have a theater company here in Los Angeles called I Am a Theater Company that we started 17 years ago with all my closest friends from college. We were all waitressing at the same restaurant, and our artistic souls were dying. And we were like, what could we do? No one's hiring us and nobody cares. And we started this theater company that we had 2 shows on Broadway this year that originated at IAMA. And it's more of my full-time job because that's a not-for-profit theater company, and I'm the chair of the board. Similar to you, Stacy, I spend all day fundraising for the arts, and it's been a very challenging time with the NEA making a lot of grants we used to easily get have been now challenged. So it's a rough time for fundraising in the arts, but I'm a fighter, and it's my day in and day out of just making sure that we pay artists, and we work a lot on developing playwrights and telling stories. And I think that that's more important now than ever. So I spend a lot of time in the theater company, and what the heck else am I doing?
Raising your kids.
Yeah.
Raising my
Motherhood.
children, which is really
snappy
take some
pretzels.
time. Snappy pretzels is a big part of it. And then, I'm trying to sell a show. I'm trying to write a book because I was very open. As Abbe, about, I had horrible postpartum depression with my daughter, and there really hasn't been a lot of stuff out on it since Brooke Shields wrote her awesome book about 20 plus years ago. So, I'm a hustler, man. I'm a hustler. It's what I do.
That's my New York girl. My New York girl.
That's right. I like to do a lot.
Yep, same.
Three of us.
That's it. And, just try to walk through the world like a kind person and take care of my relationships and my friendships. And what
about you? How do you take care of you?
Well, I just made a pretty big, very good question. I just said to my husband, I said, I need to go to New York for a few days by myself, and I need to see about 4 or 5 shows. I'm a big nerd.
Same. That sounds amazing.
I just want to go. Like I would love to go with him, but we've sort of figured out like costs a lot of money in childcare. And so I have to kind of reframe the trip like, okay, if this would be amazing for me, if you would stay home for 3 days and I could take a Tuesday overnight flight, I'm going to see a Wednesday matinee, a Wednesday night, I'm going to see a Thursday night, I'm going to see a Friday night, and I'm going to be home Saturday. And I just have a lot of friends in Broadway shows right now. And I'm seethingly jealous of Instagram and these Tony nominations that are coming out. Theater fills up my artistic soul so hard. So that's what I've asked for, and that's what I'm planning on doing. It's going to New York.
That's a very good way to take care of you.
God bless.
Shows,
yeah.
That would be divine.
Yes.
Yeah, so hopefully Betsy Beers won't mind if I send her a quick text saying, hey, do you think I could crash into your New York apartment?
I'm sure she'd say, enjoy.
Yeah.
But I like to take care of myself like that. I think it's important. I used to be such a, you can't ever leave your kids. And now I'm really like, I think I married the right person too. I don't think everyone's in that boat, but I definitely chose someone who's down to do that. And I am for him too. I mean, look, the guy went to Scotland for a week and a half this year with his father and godfather and, went on a whiskey tasting tour. So we support each other's need for those breaks and for filling up other parts of your life.
And by the way, alone time with one parent with your kids are some of the greatest memories I have. My brother and I had different vacations, so each of us would go away with my mom or dad. Some of my best memories. But I know your time is short today. Just tell me one thing before we sign off. Where did you go to summer camp?
Camp Harlem in the Poconos.
Okay.
I know it well.
You do?
Well. I went to the rival Jewish summer camp, Young Judea. There's really no rival. There's no rivalry at all.
I thought you were going to say Roma.
No.
Yeah, I thought you were going to say that, but I went to camp in Maine. And that's how my daughter ended up in New York, because I spent a lot of time with her in New York. And I sent her to my camp in Maine, and a lot of her friends were in New York. And we have our 115th camp reunion this summer.
Oh my! Well,
cool.
Adam and I got married at a sleepaway camp. That's how much we love camp. We rented a sleepaway camp in upstate New York, and we had a dirty dancing style.
Oh my God!
Everybody had a cabin. We were on a lake. We had a talent show. We had a color war. We had a whole camp weekend.
Oh, sounds so fun!
It was so fun. And this summer, actually, we're going back to Adam's camp for about a week, living in a cabin there, and we're gonna help with the play. We're going to help with some little acting classes here and there. And my kids are going to go to they're going to go to the camp activities all day. We're so excited.
That's awesome.
So fun. Well, thank you.
Thank you, ladies, so much. Thank you. This was such an honor and a pleasure.
Do you want to share your Instagram or whatever people can find you?
My Instagram is KTQ Lowe's. Follow me.
What's yours? So that
I'm at Abbe Feder on Instagram and everywhere.
Great.
And you are?
Oh, it's all over my.
Yeah, but we want you.
So thank you. We will see you soon.
Yes, you will in person. Thank you, ladies. Bye.
Bye, sweetie.
Bye.